any of you guys have kids with spitting fun activities? Isn't that fun? All right, some of the things that we do with spitters. I had a little 4-year-old that a lady brought to me that was spitting at her and was just really being obnoxious. So I sat her on my porch, in a little chair, and I gave her a 1/4 cup measuring cup, and I said, you know what? I want you to be the best that you can be at whatever you put your mind to. And I understand that you really like spitting. So I want you to practice your spitting till you're A+ at it. So I want you to fill this 1/4 cup measuring cup, and you can go home when you get it full. Whatever day it is, there's no rush. So she was sitting out there. It was a summer day, and every now and then I'd come out and give her a little drink of water because I figured she's probably getting cotton mouth trying to, the little cup. But I didn't let her all the water and then fill the cup with the water that she was drinking. Okay, I had her make sure she swallowed it. Well, I went back in the house one time, and I heard this terrible, mournful wail out of my front porch. And I thought, oh my gosh, that little girl fell off the chair. So I rushed out, are you all right? I spilled my spit. I said, oh, that's all right. You can fill it up again. Oh. She was not happy. She finally got it filled up, and her mother came to pick her up, and she's holding her mom's hand. And I said, now listen, I really enjoyed having you here today, and I would love to have you come back anytime. And I'll keep this chair right here available for you anytime you need me. Let's have like a secret signal between you and me so I know when you're missing me and you want to come back. Let me see, what would be a really good secret signal? I know. You could just spit at your mom, and I'll know you want to come and see me again. That'll be really good. And she takes her mom's hand. Never did come back. I had a really awesome teacher that I worked with who had a student that was spitting. And the teacher would take a bunch of shirts to school in the morning. And when the student spit at him, he would change his shirt at the break. And at lunchtime, he'd change his shirt again. So at the end of the day, he had this whole stash of shirts, gave them to the student to take home and wash and iron. Now you gotta communicate with the parents before you do stuff like that. Or they're like, excuse me, your homework is to do the teacher's laundry? I don't think so, what's going on? So we need to communicate ahead of time. Not warning or threatening the child, just not a problem. You want to spit all over me? You clean it up, all right? So, spitting. Oh, food issues, this is our next batch of ancient water tortures. Children that have been starved like to hide food. They don't believe that you're going to feed them, so they need to have a stash for that time when they're going to be kept from the food. So they stash it, and they usually stash some real inappropriate food. I call my cowboy every night when I'm out of town. And I called him one time. I said, how are things going? He says, well, I found a ham under the kid's bed. You found a ham under the kid's bed? He said, yep, an entire bone-in ham under the child's bed. I'm like, I don't understand. What was he doing with the ham under the bed? He said, well, apparently he took it out of the freezer and put it in his backpack and took it to school for lunch. Well, they don't let them have knives in the cafeteria, so he just was gnawing on his ham. Now, if you don't send food to school, the cafeteria will be calling you. But when the child shows up with an entire ham, nobody called us. They just thought, boy, those Thomases really feed their children well. They get an entire ham for lunch. Oh, my gosh. Well, he didn't finish it, so he brought it home and put it under his bed. He was going to have it for snacks off and on. With no refrigeration or whatever. Oh, my gosh. I don't want them hiding hams under their bed. And we have 3 dogs in our house, and my husband had to find the ham. There's something off track here. So I'd have a chat with those pooches when I got home. I had another little guy. I was checking the dresser drawers and opened his dresser drawer. There's a pound of bacon in there, raw bacon. And I said, what is this? Oh, I just have that for snacks every now and then, raw bacon. And how long have you had it in here? Oh, I don't know, a few weeks. Oh, I don't want to know. Woo. Sheesh. So I give my children food that they can stash that's not going to kill them without refrigeration. I get those little peanut butter cheese crackers kind of deals and stuff that's all individually wrapped. I get a nice container that's mouse and dog proof. All right, there's no sugar in the foods that I give them. It's all like, protein crackers and cheese kind of things that are not refrigerated. sealed up. And when I give it to them, I say, you know what? I know you think I'm going to starve you and you need to keep a stash of food. I'm okay with that. Until you figure out that I don't starve kids, you need to keep this stash. I touched every bite of food in there and put my love in it. So when you're feeling empty and you think it's here, but it's up here, when you eat this stuff, my love will be going inside of you with every bite. And then they won't eat it. So it lasts a really long time. All right? But if they do eat it, it's a good sign that they're okay with taking in some of your love. So I'll refill it. Picky eaters and children who won't eat. This is another huge problem that we have with children with attachment disorder. When my son Adam came to me, the one who wanted to be a cannibal, he was a picky eater. Now, how do you get a picky eater who wants to be a cannibal? There's something wrong with this picture. But he came in and he said, I only eat toast or pastries, hot dogs, cheese, pizza, and spaghetti. That's all I eat. I said, well, thank you for sharing that with me, but bummer, we don't eat any of those here. And I didn't serve any of those foods for the first 6 months he was with us at all. The children come into my house with this list of what they will eat and the list of what they won't eat, and it's all about control. It's not about my taste buds. So it's not okay. I prepare nutritious meals, and I'm a good cook. I like to cook. And I put effort into making everything taste good, and I serve them their nutritious meal. And they can say, ew, I don't like this. And I say, you know what? I love you. I would never force you to eat food you do not like. I take it and I give it to my dog. I say, she loves it, so don't worry about it. It won't go to waste. They say, well, what am I going to eat? I say, hey, we'll have another meal in a few hours. Don't worry about it. And in a couple of hours, I make another nutritious meal that's balanced and has what their body needs to be healthy. I put it in front of them. They, ew, I don't like this. It's okay, sweetheart. I love you very much. You never have to eat food you do not want. And by the third meal, they eat what I feed them. Not a problem, okay? You cannot force a child to eat. It's not a loving thing to do. I feed my children 3 times a day. If they go to school, I give them a snack right when they come home from school. Otherwise, it's 3 meals a day, no snacks in between, all right? But the school kids, for some reason, they get a lot extra hungry. So I give them a snack right after school because we eat supper late. All right? The picky eaters get over it. Now, if they're totally picky eaters, what happens? My dog is getting so fat, all right? So I have my husband put 1 forkful of food of each of the items that we're eating on the plate, and I say, if you eat that, I'll give you more. When your plate's cleared, you can always ask for seconds, thirds, fourths, fifths. I don't keep food from children, but I also don't force them to eat food they don't like. Another thing that I do with the picky eaters that's kind of fun, I give them a portion of food that's appropriate for their size and age. And as I give them the plate, I say, oh, I shouldn't have given you all that. You'll probably grow. We aren't ready for you to grow yet. Don't eat all of it, would you? Leave at least half. Yeah, leave a bunch, because if you grow when you're this mad, oh, you'll be a lot harder to deal with. We want you to stay pretty small, so don't eat all of it. So I don't take it away, and I don't force them to not eat it, but I playfully pull it away, and with an oppositional defiant kid, you know what they're going to do. You don't want me to eat it, then I will, okay? Or I'll say, oh, my dog really loves that. Could you save a bunch for her, because that's her favorite. She really loves that. And they're like, I'm not saving it for your dog's mine, you know, and they eat it, all right? Eating rudely, and I don't mean a little bit off. Children with attachment disorder go to great lengths to make sure you are totally grossed out at the table. My children do 1 slop, 1 slurp. They're excused. They take their plate. They eat in the laundry room if it's too cold or wet to eat outside. They eat out at the picnic table if it's nice out. And the rest of us enjoy the meal. Not a problem. Just you're excused, and they take their plate. It's important that family meal time is about bonding and sharing, and if they need to play big-time games about being gross, they do it somewhere else. And at first, they're excused pretty quickly, and then after a while, they stay a little longer and a little longer and a little longer, and after a bit, they're like, wow, it's time for dessert, and you're still with us. Wow, well, it's really nice to have you join us for the entire meal. You're getting stronger. And they're like, oh, I'm getting stronger, okay? So, eating rudely. Friends and family. Peer relationships is a huge issue. A lot of parents worry about their children not having friends. And the children come home from school and they say, nobody will play with me. Mom, can you make them play with me? And what they mean is, nobody will let me be boss of them. I want you to talk them into letting me be boss of them. And it makes them sicker if they're boss of one of the other children. They need to stay away from the other children on the playground and in the neighborhood and in the house until they have empathy, because they will just make themselves sicker with the interactions. When they have empathy, when they're beginning that attachment with the mom, then they can start to learn from those relationships. And it's very important that they do have friends. They learn so much from playing with other kids about sharing and interactions and relationships. So as quickly as possible, we want to develop that bond between the mother and the child, and then generalize that to the dad and the grandparents, and then they're ready for the other kids in school and the other children in the family. But before that, if I have two kids in the same home, one of them's attachment disorder, if they're in the same room, I stand between them. They cannot be in the same room unless there's an adult standing between them. If you have two children with attachment disorder, you've got a problem, okay? You got to be like right here, shift, okay, we're going, okay, shift, okay. It's kind of like, there used to be this show, Ed Sullivan, and this guy would have these plates on sticks, and he'd have the plates spinning, and okay, if you had two, you know, he could do that. Okay, what about three? Okay, you got 3 plates spinning, you're juggling 3 kids, 2 of them are attachment disorder, so you got to really watch them. Can you cook dinner? How about get the laundry done, balance a checkbook, answer the phone, anything? Absolutely not. You have to have help. You have to have help, because those pieces need to be picked up by somebody else, because you're juggling. You drop a plate, you lost a child. Somebody's going to get hurt. All right? So peer relationships, we don't worry about it. In the beginning, we're going to focus on that initial bond, and as they heal, then they begin to develop friendships. And in the beginning, we have them bring their friends over, and we, make pizza and do interactive stuff so that we can help them, because they don't know how to get along. Siblings' rights is a huge issue. The other children in the home, when there's an emotionally disturbed child, get put on the back burner. And the sickest child gets all the attention, and the rest of the kids, their lives get put on hold day after day, hour after hour, as the sickest child is the squeaking wheel that gets the grease. That doesn't work. When these children are acting up, that gives me time to spend with the kids that are healthy, that need my time and energy as well. They have a right to have friends over to visit. And if they bring a friend over, what's the attachment disorder child going to do? Humiliate and embarrass them in front of their friends. So it's very important that you are ready when your healthy child invites a friend over. They're out in the garden playing while you and Sweetums are making the pizza, making the lunch or whatever. You and Sweetums go out in the garden and eat pizza while they come in and have pizza in the dining room, and you just juggle. And you keep Sweetums over here, because if they can flash them or say something humiliating or whatever, they will. And then the healthy children are so humiliated, they can't bring friends into their own home. And that's not okay. Bedrooms are off limits. Children with attachment disorder do not share a room with another child, ever, until they are completely healthy. The problem is they don't feel safe at night. If there's another child in their room, because they have huge trust issues, they don't sleep soundly. Think about it. If you had Charles Manson sleeping in your room, how soundly would you sleep? Yeah, I mean, he's a cold-blooded killer. You'd be like, I'm awake, I'm awake, I'm awake, I'm awake. That's how children with attachment disorder are. If there's somebody else in the room, they can't sleep soundly. It interrupts those healthy sleep patterns we talked about. If there's somebody else in the room that's weaker than they are, if they can physically, emotionally, or sexually abuse another child, they will. If they have been sexually abused and they get 1 second of unsupervised time, they will repeat the behavior that was done to them. I have not worked with one child out of a Russian orphanage who was not sexually abused. There's probably been some, but I have not seen one. And they have to be monitored every minute of the day, because if they molest another child, it sets their heart back way, way huge damage, okay? So be very, very aware of that. They do not share a room. It is not a luxury. It's a necessity that they do not share a room. Other kids' rooms are off limits. They don't go in each other's rooms to play, because children with attachment disorder go in there and scope it out for stuff they can steal later on. Who is loved the most, because they measure that love by who's got the most toys. Well, you've had this child for 10 years. They have 10 years worth of Christmas gifts and birthday gifts. And you've had this child for 2 years. They have 2 years of Christmas and birthday gifts. Who has the most stuff? But that's how they evaluate love. They're very materialistic in the beginning. So they don't go in each other's rooms to scope it out or whatever. Everybody's room's off limits. We play in the family room, we play in the living room, we play in the yard, but they don't play in the bedrooms. Abusing other kids, whether they're hitting them or kicking them, they pay back with their time and attention. So instead of having them lie and say, I'm sorry, what I do is I say, oh, little brother, you got your leg kicked right there. Why don't you prop that leg up and rest it? Yes. Now, sweetums, I'm going to have you do your brother's chores for him today while his leg is resting where you kicked him. Now, I don't know how bad your leg hurts. Do you feel like Sweetums doing your chores for you one day will be enough resting for your leg? Or do you need to rest it for a couple of days or a year or two? What do you think will work for you? You feel like 3 days of Sweetums doing your chore will work? All right. Sweetums, not a problem. Your brother says you can do his chores for him for 3 days, and his leg will feel fine. Okay? Sometimes they fold laundry for the other child, because my kids all fold their own laundry. Whatever it is, they pay back with their time and energy. Tattling. Any of you have kids with the tattling? Ooh. All right. When children tattle, they're telling on somebody to get them in trouble so that they feel bigger and better. It's very sick. Telling is when they tell on somebody to get them out of trouble, to get them help. Like, Johnny's playing with matches, Mom. Okay, we need to help him, stop that particular behavior. Tattling's not okay. Anytime, anywhere. Not a healthy child doing it, not an attachment disorder child doing it. Telling is okay for the healthy children. Children with attachment disorder don't get the right to tell or to tattle until they're healthier, because they can't differentiate. So if they come and they tattle, I say, what's that? You say your brother is being mean to all of the kids and stealing and lying and cheating? Oh, brother, you know what? He just came in and was tattling on you, so he's going to be doing your chores for you today. I'm really sorry he did that to you. Not a problem. They stop the tattling pretty quickly. Pets, another issue with the friends and families. A lot of us have pets, whether it's a cat or a dog or a horse or whatever. It's a good outlet for us, that unconditional love that comes from a little animal, but we need to protect our pets. If the child can kick or pinch or grab hold or whatever, it's real quick, and those animals don't deserve to be abused. We have to keep them safe from the child. So I keep the child here, the dog here. The dog's in the yard, the child's in the yard, the dog's in, but we juggle so that they do not have access. I would not put a child in the yard where a dog's out there with them as well, unless I happen to be in the yard with them at the same time. Okay, we need to protect our pets. They do not feed, water, or walk the pets. They're not given any control over any living being until they have control of themselves. All right? Once they have control of themselves, we have them start with a spider plant. They nurture their little spider plant 3 to 6 months. No reminders to water it. And when that plant's thriving, they can move up to a fish. They take care of the fish, 100% of the cleaning and feeding of the fish. They earn the money to buy the fish and the fish bowl and whatever they need. Then they move up from there to a turtle or a rodent or some kind of a thing that's still kind of contained. 3 to 6 months of taking care of that. If I come in and find that thing with no food, it goes into foster care. Might as well learn how to work the system early on, because when they get children that they don't feed, they're going into foster care. And I tell them what hoops they need to jump through to show me that they're going to be responsible enough to get that little animal back, because I'm not leaving an animal hungry and starved because a child's learning how to take care of them. One time I find that thing without food or water, it's in foster care. The second time I find it without food or water, it's rehomed. No discussion, all right? I don't check the plant. If they kill the plant, it's a lot easier to bury than a puppy. So I want them to kill the plant off, 100% responsibility, but it's how they learn to nurture so that they can nurture my grandkids when they get that far. So I want them to practice on the little plant and then the fish and different things before they move up to a dog or a cat and or even a horse. Triangulation, we talked about that some earlier, but it's so important. They act so different for mom than they do for dad. They do this, I hate you, Mom. You're the worst mother in the whole world. Oh, Daddy's home. Oh, Daddy. Oh, dear Daddy. And they rush into Daddy's arms. And Daddy just sees the top of Sweetums' head. And Sweetums is over looking at Mom doing that look, you know. And Mom is standing there like this. And Dad takes a look at Mom and he thinks, she used to be such a sweet woman. I don't know what happened to her. Sweetums, why don't you and I go throw the ball and give Mom a break? You know, so they're going off. Well, here's Mom over here. She's like, I'm under attack in my own home. Everything I do, everything I care about is attacked. And my soulmate, my lifetime partner, comes in, aligns with my abuser, and abandons me. And Dad thinks he's over here helping, giving Mom a break, and Mom's getting madder by the minute. We have divorce. And Sweetums goes, divide and conquer. My kids used to divide my cowboy and I, which is pretty hard to do because we're a pretty powerful team, but they were masters. And they'd come to me and say, Mom, can I do such and such? I'd say no. And they'd go to Dad. Dad, can I do such and such? He'd say yes. And I'd be, I told him no, and you told him yes. And there we were. And I looked at one of the kids one time, big grin. Normal kids get scared when Mom and Dad fight. It's like, whoa, families are crashing and burning all around us. Mom and Dad are fighting. This is not good. This kid, big grin on his face. I'm like, oh, he set us up. So we teamed up. I said, okay, you pick your turf. I'll pick my turf. You're in charge of your turf. If they ask a question about that particular area, I won't answer. I'll send them to you. They ask a question about my particular area, like he's got, you know, the backyard where his tractor is and that kind of stuff, and the garage where all his tools are and whatever. And I have the kitchen and whatever. So if they ask a question in my area, I answer it. If it's his area, I direct him to him. We have no more of this, I said you couldn't do it, and then you gave him permission. So be careful. Team up. Communicate. Plan ahead so that you don't have those problems. All right, this whole list, prescribing the problem, is the solution to this whole list. Chewing their clothes, like this, like that, or they chew on their sleeves, chewing on their hands, thumb sucking, there we go, biting their nails, biting their lips, biting their toes, cracking knuckles, or popping knuckles, as some people call it, picking boogers, picking scabs, or masturbating, all right? That whole list, we do what's called prescribing the problem. So if you've had a child who's been picking their boogers, and you've been trying to get them to stop, oh, that's so gross, there's germs, when you come home and you're trying this whole new routine, it's so different. What I do is I say, you know, I've been trying to get you to stop that booger picking thing, and I've been thinking about it. And you know what? A lot of kids, you know, they collect baseball cards or Beanie Babies or Matchbox cards. It costs a lot of money for the family. And you know what? Boogers are free. This is a good thing. So what I've done, I picked up a felt board for you so you could pick your boogers and have a whole booger collection. I want you to really enjoy yourself. I want you to be happy. Every child needs to have a hobby, and I'm glad you found such an inexpensive one for the family. So what I want you to do, I want you to go in the bathroom, wash your hands, and enjoy yourself in there. And the felt board's there for you. You can open it or close it however you want to display your booger collection. When you're done, I want you to wash your hands. I want to see how clean your hands are when you come out. Well, the first time you send a kid with this particular one, they'll go as they go to the bathroom. The second time they do it, whatever it is, whether it's masturbating or whatever, they'll do, I'm not masturbating in there and you can't make me. It's like, hey, whatever works. Okay. So I send them every day for a week, and then at the end of the week, I'll say, now, you know, sometimes I forget stuff. I just get a lot of things on my mind, and I just forget stuff. So it would really help me out if we could have a signal so I know when you want to spend time with your hobby. You know, how about, since you want to collect scabs, your scab collecting hobby, how about if you just, like, start to pick a scab like that, and then I'll know you want to spend time with your hobby, and that'll really help me out. I'll appreciate that. So they start to go, oh, and I say, oh, that is so excellent. Thanks for reminding me. Oh, I love you so much. Hop in the bathroom, wash your hands, enjoy your scab collection, put them on the felt board there, how you have it, and make sure your hands are nice and clean when you come out, and I want to smell them. Now, if you have a child who chews their fingernails and they get them bloody, when they go in to wash their hands, when they come out, if they've been doing it to hassle you, when they show you how clean their hands are, instead of doing it this way, they will do it this way so that you'll see the bloody stubs because it's been bugging you. It's your ancient water torture, all right? So when that happens, just say, turn them over, let me smell. Oh, yes, they smell nice and clean. Good job. Don't look. Because if you go, they'll see it. They're so fast, that quick little, and then they're going to chew them down even farther. And I say, oh, man, I'm so glad you're getting your own snacks. That saves us money. You know, those chewing those fingernails. It's great. So I prescribe the problem, and I'm okay with it. Now, I had a mom who had a little girl from Russia who was very, very small, and the mom was trying to get her to eat fruits and vegetables and nutritious foods, and the little girl was just stealing Coke and candy bars. Mom couldn't get her to eat anything else, just stealing the Coke and candy bars. She came back from my seminar, sat the family down for dinner. The little girl comes to her place at the table. There's a Coke and a candy bar. She looks at it, and she says, oh, what's this? And the mom says, I love you very much. I want you to be happy. She says, I'm happy. This is great. In the morning, she comes out. It's Coke and a candy bar. It's all the kids eating for several weeks anyway, okay? But the mom was trying to get her to eat good food so she could grow. Does it the other way around. It's Coke and a candy bar for breakfast. Cool. This is great. Lunchtime, it's Coke and a candy bar. Dinner time, she comes. There's Coke and a candy bar. She picks it up. She says, what are you trying to do? Kill me? I need fruit and vegetables here. And the mom says, you know, I know what'll help you to feel better. Let me pick one of your scabs. That always helped you. What happened to you? Child had no choice but to heal with an awesome mom like that, I'll tell you. They need to go in the bathroom. The door's closed in the bathroom. If they do that little reminder, any of these things, sucking their thumb or whatever, that's bathroom behavior. It's not out in the house behavior. Okay? Wash your hands, 15 minutes of sucking your thumb, and wash your hands when you come out. If the thumb starts to go back in, hop in the bathroom. Okay, a lot of times the children do that as, I miss my mother, I didn't get enough sucking, you know, from my mother early on. And by the time they're 10 or 15, I've had 15-year-olds with the thumb sucking. It's not an okay replacement. So if they need to suck their thumb, they don't do it in the family. They do it, you know, away. But that lets me know that I need to be pulling that child up more. I need to be reconnecting even more because they're still feeling that emptiness. But a lot of times it just gets to be a habit. Even though we are reconnecting and we're doing those pieces, they're just so used to that's how I calm myself that they don't have a more appropriate way to calm themselves. All right? Medical issues, we need to have a doctor on the team. We get a thorough medical exam before we start this because sometimes it's a medical condition, it's not a behavior problem, and we need to have a doctor on our team to take care of that particular situation. As well as if the child's going to be on medication, we need to have someone we can trust with that. Claiming fake illnesses, such as I had a little guy who was allergic to work. And if I asked him to do the kitchen dishes after breakfast, you know, he'd have a stomach ache. If it was leaf raking time, he'd have a stomach ache. If it was vacuum the living room, it was a stomach ache. Well, the therapist prescribed old-fashioned castor oil. That works. A spoonful of old-fashioned cod liver oil works real well, too, or even old blackstrap molasses. You know, you say, oh, I've got some stuff for your stomach ache. Here you go, a spoonful of this. And it only took him one day to recover from his incredible ailment, okay? But make sure it's not something that's going to be toxic if they get too much of or whatever. So check those things out. Nutrition, we've talked about some. And that I could spend a whole day on. I cannot stress enough how important it is that the leader is in charge of the nutrition in the family. I have families come to study with me, and the mom, you know, a lot of times it gets close to lunchtime, and she'll say to the, like, 9-year-old, okay, it's lunchtime, what would you like for lunch? And I'm like, wow, a 9-year-old who has studied nutrition. This is so cool. I can hardly wait to see what the child's going to request for their nutritional requirements for the day. And when they say, I want hot dogs, chips, and a Coke, I'm thinking, what an amazingly powerful breakfast this child must have had if he can balance out his body's nutritional needs with pure trash. Wow. I don't ask my kids what they want to eat unless it's their birthday. I make their favorite dinner on their birthday. The rest of the time, I prepare nutritious meals. I'm the leader. I know how much calcium their body needs. You know, without enough calcium, our kids don't sleep and they act crazy in the daytime. You know how much calcium a kid needs? It's a whole bunch. If you have a family of 4 and you're going through less than a gallon of milk a day, if milk is your main calcium source, somebody's got a nutritional deficiency in calcium. A gallon of milk a day, that's 7 gallons a week. Half a pound of cheese a day. Not one of those little slices with the plastic wrap. It's about 10 of those little slices with the plastic wrap. 15 containers of those little containers of yogurt. 15 to get their calcium needs. We need to be watching what our children are eating, what they're getting, and what they're missing so that we're fueling their bodies so that they can grow. All right? Have a good doctor on your team. Oh, bedtime issues. This is a fun one. Any of you have fun getting your kids off to bed? Oh, yeah. I used to say, okay, you guys, it's just about time for bed. Come on, start cleaning up. Hurry up. You know, get your stuff picked up. All right, it's time for bed. Come on, let's get these toys put away. Okay, you guys, it's time for bed now. Clean up. All right, get this mess cleaned up right now and get in there. What? You need a drink of water? All right, hurry, make it quick. Hurry, 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 hurry. Hurry, 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 hurry. What? You gotta go to the bathroom? All right, hurry up, come on, hurry, come on, get in there. All right, hurry, all right, go to bed. All right, honey, it's our time together now. It wasn't working very well. You know, my children were going off to slumberland with their mother raging in their ears, and then I had my quiet time with my cowboy, and I was toast, you know? So I said, okay, we gotta go to plan B. First of all, children need a set bedtime. My little ones are in their room at 7 o'clock because they have to get up early in the morning. They need to have 10 to 12 hours of sleep. When they're growing, it's 12 hours. When they're not growing, it's 10 hours. I don't know what day they're going to start growing. So they need to be in their room on time. If they want to lay in there and read a book for an hour or two, get ready for a, book report in school or do a little puzzle, that's fine. But they're in their room on time so they have some quiet time to unwind and relax before they go to sleep. So they're in their room, 7 o'clock. The teenagers, the older kids, are in their room, 7:30. Because they have a tremendous amount of schoolwork and a tremendous amount of reading that's involved in that schoolwork. And they need to have hours of quiet time to be able to focus on all of that book reports and all of those studies. And teenagers like to lay and listen to their music quietly and unwind before they go to bed, all right? So they're in their rooms at 7:30. They have a stereo in there to listen to, as long as it's quiet. And they can read, do puzzles, write letters, whatever. There is not a computer hooked up to the internet in the bedroom. There's 2 different studies on that. One study says 60% of the internet is porn. The other study says 90% of the internet is now pornography. I don't know which study's right, but both of them are really scary. So if my children are on the internet, I'm sitting in a chair right next to them because our kids cannot deal with that stuff. They already have way, way too much to deal with. So if they say, I need to look up something for school on the internet, cool, what are you looking up? Wow, that's really neat. Oh, isn't that interesting? Oh, this is good. I sit there the whole time because that stuff comes up. And they don't have to go looking for it. It comes looking for them. It's really bad news, all right? So I'm real clear what time I expect them to go to bed. My children have an alarm on their door at night so that they feel safe. If they have been raped, if they have been kidnapped, taken away from a family, if they have been beaten at night where a parent was drunk or stoned or whatever and came in, they don't feel safe. So I have an alarm on the door. I get them from Radio Shack. They're about 25 bucks. There's a piece that goes on the door jamb, the piece that goes on the door. They open the door, it sets it off. It goes beep, beep, beep. It's not a lock. You cannot lock children in their rooms because if there's a fire, they can't get out. It's not safe. And it doesn't teach them anything, all right? So the alarm is very loud, and I can hear it. It wakes me up in the night so that I know if the child is getting out. And, you know, if they're sick, if they're running for the bathroom or something, they aren't going to come and say, Mom, I don't feel good, because they don't trust. So I know if they're up in the middle of the night going to the bathroom, they're obviously sick or they wouldn't be up in the middle of the night. And then I can be there for them to, you know, help them through whatever situation's going on. When I first put the alarm on, they usually have to test it a couple nights to see how quickly I can get there at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm okay with that. A couple of nights. After that, I expect them sleeping through the night. And if they're still up at 2, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, I know I need to increase that child's exercise because they're not sleeping soundly. We need to be doing some long hikes, you know, some hours of swimming or something to get this child's sleep patterns healthy. We need to look at the calcium level that this child's got. Sometimes warm milk right before they go to bed, that'll release the calcium and some of the tryptophan in there that helps them to sleep a little more soundly. So whatever I need to do to help them with their healthy sleep patterns, I'm going to do that. If they don't get themselves to bed on time, I don't yell, I don't scream anymore, I'm not nagging, I don't say a word. I just look at the clock, 7:15, I smile at the child. 7:30, I look at the clock, I smile even bigger at the child. I say, you know, I'm really glad you're part of our family. Did I forget to tell you? Every minute you stay up past your bedtime, you'll be doing an extra chore for me. I sure am glad you're part of our family. And they're like, oh my gosh, can I get a drink of water? Sure, have several. Can I go to the bathroom? You bet. You want to take a magazine in there to read? Take your time. Not a problem. So in the morning, I give them the list of however many chores they've got. Maybe it's 45. And they're not like clean the barn or some huge job. It's like empty the waste paper basket in the bathroom and, you know, clean the dog hair off the couch and shake the entry rug. So it's a whole bunch of little jobs, but it's a bunch of little jobs. So at breakfast, I give them the list, and they're looking at it. Whoa, whoa. I let them worry about it a little bit. Then after breakfast, I'll say, you know, that's an awful lot of work you got lined up for yourself there. I really appreciate you volunteering to do all that. But, you know, I'm just really thinking that I want you to have a lot of playtime. Kids need playtime. They need to play every day. It's part of their brain development and stuff. So I'm going to have you just do 2 chores after lunch. 2 chores, before lunch, and 2 chores before dinner. So that way, how many chores will you be doing? 4. Right, you'll be doing 4 extra chores a day. So how many days will you need to do those 4 extra chores to get done with your list of 45? I don't know. I said, well, that's okay. You can just do 4 extra chores every day till you figure it out. It's not a problem. And pretty soon they're paying another kid to do the math for them. Hey, I'll give you a quarter if you figure out how many times 4 goes into 25. You know? They go to school and they say, teacher, I need to know math. And the teacher's like, oh, a student who wants to learn. One of my fondest dreams come true. Yeah. The kids get themselves to bed on time. It's their responsibility, all right? Making noise at night, if they're practicing their yodeling or they're drumming at 2 a.m., sometimes in the middle of the day, the next day, the rest of us need a nap because we were up at the yodeling deal. And so I have them go in their room and practice being quiet while the rest of us can take a nap, for 30 minutes or something. Or I have them go in their room and practice their yodeling and drumming in the middle of the day when we're all awake so they can get it out of their system instead of the middle of the night. And I need to help that child have healthy sleep patterns by making sure they're getting enough exercise and their body has what they need. Because if they're at 2 o'clock in the morning yodeling, they're not sleeping, okay? Oh, getting them up in the morning. Anybody have problems with that deal? Some of our kids just can't move in the morning. They're like, dead. When I open my children's doors in the morning and I open the door, they do not set the alarm off. They don't have permission to do that, okay? So I come by 15 minutes before we have to leave for school, and I open the door. If the child is up, dressed, with their bed made and the room picked up, then they come out. I say, all right, good morning. You can use the bathroom. I open the next door. Oh, bummer, sweetheart. And I close the door. And I say, oh, you got your stuff done. Good morning. Come on out. You can start your strong sitting. Okay, you're done in the bathroom. Good job in the bathroom. You can come out and do your strong sitting. Sweetums, you can go into the bathroom. You've got your 5 minutes in there. They have 5 minutes of strong sitting, 5 minutes to eat breakfast, 5 minutes in the bathroom, and they're out the door. If I give them too long, I'm doing the hurry, hurry, stop picking out with your brother, get your stuff, come on, this way they don't have time to mess around. They go in the bathroom, they close the door. Whatever they need to do in there, they have 5 minutes. They can stand there and stare in the mirror, or they can take care and get, but I make sure they've got time in there to get whatever it is done. The one, after I get the other guys off to school, the one that wasn't up and dressed, then I go back and I say, oh, Sweetums, I'm sorry you couldn't get yourself together this morning, but that's okay. I always enjoy having a child volunteer to stay home with me because today is barn cleaning day. And I appreciate you helping me out with that. Not a problem. And we do spend the school day hours doing something that the child can do for a living as an adult that doesn't require an education. Doesn't require reading, writing, or arithmetic. So that would be, manure moving, floor scrubbing, window washing. And I say, you know what? You do not have to go to school. School's a privilege. You can stay home and learn these skills, about a couple of days of that, and they're like, I want to go to school. Can I please go to school? Oh, sure. Are you sure? If you change your mind, just be rude to the teacher, and you can come right home and help me finish cleaning the next stall in the barn. I'll save it for you. It's okay. And the children get very motivated to be in school and do what they need to be doing in there so they can be the best that they can be. All right. Stealing. This is a big one. All right. When I have a child who steals, first child I had, I did it wrong. He got 16 years in prison for stealing because I worked overtime trying to stop him from stealing. I thought that sounded like a good plan. Doesn't that sound like a good plan? Can you stop somebody from stealing? No. They have to stop themselves from stealing. I did it wrong. I was checking the backpack, going through the pockets, searching the room. I was spending a great deal of time not making any progress, okay? It became a huge game of catch me if you can. And he loved the game so much, he stopped playing it with me when he became an adult and started playing it with the police department. Catch me if you can with the police department. Well, there's a plan. And as an adult, he still steals. He says he loves the rush of power he gets from stealing because I play the game of catch me if you can. So don't go there. What I do is I say, now, Sweetums, I understand that you like to steal. So I have set stuff out all around the house, packages of Tic Tacs and money and jewelry, coins, a whole bunch of different stuff for you to practice your stealing. Now, if I find it missing, you will pay me back double. Like if you take this pack of Tic Tacs, then I get 2 packs of Tic Tacs back. This will be good, all right? Some of the things I have laid out for you are little gifts with my love in them. And so when you take those, I won't be having you pay back double on those because those are just little gifts of love. So what happens? They come by and they're like, oh, Tic Tacs. I hate Tic Tacs, but she really likes Tic Tacs. It's probably one of her booby traps. She probably set this out, so I have to buy her 2 packs. I'm not taking it. She's trying to get me to buy her more Tic Tacs. Well, then I won't touch them. They'll come by and they'll see, oh, a battery. That'll work in my new remote control car. Yeah. This might be one of her gifts with love in it because she knows I need a battery for that thing. She probably put that there so I would feel her love. She's trying to get me to steal her stuff. Well, I won't. Undoes all of the fun of, I've outsmarted her. I have her stuff. I'm smarter and more powerful than she is. Ruins that whole game. During this particular training thing, you cannot take them in stores, okay? You cannot take them in your friends' homes because they aren't playing the same game and the same rules. They have to stay home. And you do set things out, but there are times when you put stuff out that you forget, like when you take coins out of the pants when you're doing the laundry and you set them there and you forget how much there was. But you're off the hook because to them, it was one of her gifts with love, and sometimes they'll come back and put it back. There's love in here. Whoa. So we have fun with that. Kids who run away, you want them to run again, the best thing to do is search for them. Search with pain in your face, calling their name, and I guarantee you they'll run again and again and again. That's the worst thing to do. The best thing to do with a child who runs away is call the therapist, let them know the child's run. Call the police to look for the child who's run and make sure that they know this is an emotionally disturbed child who is under psychiatric care and could be a danger to themselves or others. So they know this is not just any kid, all right? Call the respite provider to meet you at the police station and order pizza because you just got free respite. The rest of the family gets a pizza party where Sweetums gone and you don't have to worry about what Sweetums is doing because the police are taking care of it, all right? So we have a pizza party. Police department calls up and says, we have located Sweetums. We say, thank you very much. Get in the car, go to the police department quickly because you know what Sweetums is doing there, telling huge lies about what happened. So get there quickly. You got to fill out all the forms. The respite provider meets you right outside the front door. So when you see Sweetums, give Sweetums a big hug. Don't talk to him. Give Sweetums a big hug. Fill out the forms. Walk outside the door. Sweetums wants to know what's going to happen. The reticular activating system of the brain is wide open. They want to know. Okay, you haven't said one word. You just gave them a hug. Means I still love you, okay? But they want to know what's going to happen. You come out the door of the police department. You put their hand in the respite provider's hand. The respite provider has a hold of them. You have 2 sentences. So I say, I understand you don't want to live with us. I can love you no matter where you live. And you get in your car and you go as quickly as possible. You don't wait for a response, just go. Whoosh. And the child's like, uh-oh, that is not what I had planned. This is not good. And the respite provider needs to be trained to do the therapeutic motivational respite to motivate the child to want to go home. They don't take them to a Disneyland experience. They take them to home where they're doing spring cleaning. We're so glad you're going to be here. When I have a child who's been a runner, I talk to the rest of the kids in the house. I say, we've got a runner coming. Okay, we'll help you, Mom. So while the runner's there, we eat peanut butter and jelly, Campbell's soup out of can. We sit and read for hours. And when the child says, you know, oh, I was wanting to know, excuse me, we like quiet children here. And they're like, this is the most boring family I have ever seen in my life. And they're thinking, my mom talks to me. She's a much better cook than you are. My family does cool stuff. They don't sit and read for hours and hours and hours. And I want to go home. I say, good, that's great. You need to do a job to earn the ride home because I don't drive my kids around for free. And they're like, I have to do a job to earn the ride. My mother drives me for free. Well, you didn't want her. And they start appreciating. You know, moms do loving things like cut the sandwich a special way. When I have a kid who's a runner, I don't cut the sandwich at all. I do all kinds of non-mom things, okay? All right, knives and weapons. When the children come to me that are very violent, I had one social worker say, okay, this child's got a problem with knives. You need to hide all your knives before the kid comes. Well, how in the world do you hide all the weapons in your home? And how does one cook without any knives in your house? That doesn't work very well. So I said, I don't think so. That's not going to work for me. If I hid the knives, this could become a weapon, a chair, a rock. They find weapons. So I don't want to. The message I would be giving the child if I hid the knives is what? I'm afraid of you. I'm not strong enough to protect myself if I have a knife in here because you're so powerful with a knife. I can take a knife away from a child. I'm strong enough to do that. I don't take children who weigh more than I do. I have to eat a lot of chocolate to maintain my status, but it's for a good cause. Okay? So this little girl, she comes in. I pull out the knife drawer. I said, now I understand you like knives. This is our steak knife. It's pretty sharp, but it's kind of short. I don't think it would really go through very far. No, this one. This is nice and long, but see that serrated edge? You got to saw with that thing. And the end is round because that's a bread knife. I don't think it would go through very well. But oh, this one. This is the Thanksgiving turkey carving knife. We keep that blade real nice and sharp, nice point on there. That's a plenty long enough blade. That would go through. We keep it right here. And while I was doing that, this little girl is doing this. Because what's the message I'm giving her? I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid, and I understand that you have a problem here. So I said, now, since you're interested in knives a lot, I'm going to have you help me in the kitchen, because a lot of times I'm chopping up carrots and celery and whatever stuff, cooking. I really appreciate having a hand. So she was assigned to do some of the chopping, and I would chop with her. We have a cutting board in the middle of the kitchen. I would take her board and her knife and turn to scrape it on the stove in the pot. I didn't turn and leave her with the knife and stir stuff on the stove while she's behind me with the knife. I wasn't stupid about it, all right? But I gave her the message that I was not afraid. And she could feel safe enough to begin the healing process she needed to have. All right, with guns in the house, you have to have 3 locks on there, and I don't recommend it. Because these kids, they're fast, all right? When they destroy property, walls, doors, those kinds of things, they need to pay for whatever they've destroyed. If they destroy their own toys, we just throw them away. There's no damages they have to pay. It was their stuff. We just throw them in the trash, and it's over. All right? The last few things I'm just going to whip through pretty quickly. These are things that parents have shared with me, other people say to them. Their parenting is too tough. They parent like a Nazi. Ancient water torture, yeah, it hurts. They're not strict enough. Sometimes they're told that in the same day. Sometimes they're told that they're insane because they make a big deal about picking boogers or whatever it is, and the therapist doesn't understand what a huge issue it is in the home. We're told we're a bad parent, that you don't like the child, that you don't love the child, that we just need to try harder. And last but not least, the cruelest thing that people say to parents of an emotionally disturbed child is, you know, you just need to love him more. They have no idea how much love it takes to open that door in the morning and let them out, knowing what your day is going to be like. To sit in training sessions like this, hour after hour, when you could be doing a whole lot more fun things than listening to me. How much love does that take? To hug a porcupine, as we call it. A mother porcupine finds a way to hug her baby porcupines. But when we're doing it wrong, it hurts. And we bleed, and we suffer, and we cry, and we try harder, and we try more, and we don't quit. How much love does it take? They have no idea. You guys are awesome, and I've really been honored to be with you. And I appreciate every minute that you spend with your children, because you're their best chance, and you're the only one that can touch their hearts and heal them. Thank you. I appreciate you. You guys are the best.